Right now, someone online is telling you to book a cruise on Tuesday. Someone else is telling you to wait for wave season in January because that's when you'll find the best deals. And a third is recommending you to book as far out as possible to lock in the lowest price. All three of those pieces of advice are wrong. Not slightly off, not outdated by a year, wrong in a way that's documented in 2.6 million price data points collected across 9 major cruise lines and tracked through February 2026. Here's what the data actually shows, and why the gap between conventional cruise booking wisdom and real pricing behavior is wider than most people realize. For years, the dominant advice about when to book travel online was check prices on Tuesday. The theory came from the airline industry, where fares were historically loaded on Monday nights and dropped by Tuesday morning. Airlines then adjusted for competitors by Tuesday afternoon, which is when the window closed. That logic never fully applied to cruise lines, and in 2026, it applies even less. Cruise lines don't operate on the same pricing calendar as airlines. They use dynamic pricing algorithms that adjust fares based on occupancy rates, booking pace, days until departure, and competitive positioning, not a weekly publishing schedule. When All Aboard Deals analyzed 2.6 million price snapshots across 9 cruise lines in 2026, Tuesday came in at a 4.7% chance of catching a meaningful price drop. That's not terrible, but it's not the best day either. Wednesday was 4.3%, Monday was the worst day of the entire week at just 2.4%, the actual best day, Saturday, a 10.8% chance of catching a price drop of 5% or more, 4.5 times better odds than Monday. Friday comes in second at 9.4%. The Friday-Saturday window is where the real pricing action concentrates, across almost every major line. Why the weekend? The most plausible explanation is internal. Cruise lines review occupancy data and booking pace during the business week, and yield management teams make pricing decisions that take effect toward the end of the week. By Friday and Saturday, those adjustments have propagated through the booking systems. It's not guaranteed, nothing in dynamic pricing is, but the pattern holds across enough lines and enough data points that it's not a coincidence. Here's where it gets more specific and more useful. Saturday dominates the data overall, but 2 lines drive that number disproportionately: Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises. On Saturdays, both lines show price drop rates in the 20 to 23% range, roughly double the industry average. If you're sailing either of those 2 lines and you're monitoring prices, Saturday is the window that matters most. Carnival and Norwegian behave completely differently. Both lines show their highest drop frequency on Thursdays, around 6%, with Fridays and Saturdays that are solid but not exceptional. If you're sailing Carnival or Norwegian, you should be checking prices on Thursdays, not Saturdays. MSC leans toward Friday without a dramatic spike on either side of the weekend. The practical implication? The right day to check prices isn't universal. It depends on the line you're sailing. Applying Saturday logic to a Carnival booking and Thursday logic to a Royal Caribbean booking inverts the optimal timing for both. January through March is called wave season in the cruise industry, the annual marketing push where cruise lines promote heavily and bundle perks to drive bookings. It's the most written about booking window in cruise media and almost universally recommended as the best time to lock in a deal. The data tells a different story. According to the same 2.6 million price analysis, base fares during wave season are actually 5.7% higher on average than fares outside wave season. Not lower, higher. The marketing is real, the perks are real, bundled drink packages, onboard credit, cabin upgrades, but the underlying fares themselves trend upward during this period, not downward, because demand peaks exactly when cruise lines are running their biggest promotions. But there are 2 exceptions. Carnival fares average 3.7% lower during wave season, and MSC fares average 5.9% lower. If you're committed to sailing one of those 2 lines, January through March is genuinely a lower fare window. For everyone else, wave season is a perks window, not a price window. That's a meaningful distinction. The shoulder months, April and May, September and October, are consistently where base fare flexibility opens up. School schedules return to normal after summer and before the next holiday wave. Occupancy projections soften and cruise lines adjust accordingly. A Caribbean sailing in early October or a Mediterranean departure in late April will routinely be priced below the same itinerary in July or January. This one is the most counterintuitive and also the most consequential for how most people actually book cruises. The conventional wisdom is that booking far in advance locks in the best price. Get in before demand builds, secure your cabin, pay less. It sounds logical. And it's what a significant portion of travel advisors still recommend. The data doesn't support it. When all-aboard deals mapped price drop frequency across the entire booking window, from over a year out to the final days before sailing, the pattern is unambiguous. The 0 to 50-day window before departure accounts for 33% of all price drops across the industry. That's the single highest concentration of discount activity in the entire booking curve. Royal Caribbean shows a 41% drop rate in this window. Celebrity shows 37%, and Norwegian hits 32%. The 51 to 100-day window accounts for another 24% of all price drops. Together, those two windows, inside 100 days of departure, account for 57% of all the meaningful price movement that happens across the entire booking life cycle. Beyond 150 days out, price drop activity falls to low single digits for most lines. Beyond 250 days, it's near zero for almost everyone. Booking a year in advance gives you the cabin you want. It almost never gives you the best price. That doesn't mean booking early is wrong. It means understanding why you're booking early. If cabin selection matters more than price optimization, a specific deck, a specific location, a sold-out category, booking early is the right call. But if the primary goal is paying as little as possible, the data consistently points toward the 31 to 100-day window as the strongest combination of price drop frequency and remaining cabin availability. Inside 50 days before departure is where the biggest price drops happen, but not uniformly. The dynamics depend on what the ship looks like at that point. A sailing with strong occupancy and limited remaining inventory inside 50 days is not going to drop in price. The cruise line has no incentive to discount what's already nearly sold. A sailing with meaningful remaining inventory across multiple cabin categories is a completely different situation. Cruise lines facing empty cabins close to departure have every incentive to move that inventory, and they do. The signals to look for are simple. Multiple cabin types still showing availability, a wide range of deck options when you click into a category, and an ability to search for larger groups, 3 or 4 guests, and still find ample results. Lots of remaining choices mean the ship isn't filling fast, and that's when last-minute pricing gets aggressive. This pattern is particularly reliable on shoulder season sailings, Caribbean departures in September or early October, Mediterranean departures in April, Alaska in May before the peak summer rush fills every available berth. High-demand sailings in July, holiday weeks, and new ship inaugural season are almost never going to produce last-minute price drops. Those fill on their own. There's one additional category worth knowing: repositioning cruises. These are sailings where a ship moves from one home port to another, Caribbean to Europe in spring, Mediterranean to Caribbean in fall. They appeal to a narrow audience, often sail at unusual times, and routinely drop in price inside the final 50 days when they haven't sold out. If you have flexibility on dates and destinations, repositioning sailings are one of the most reliable last-minute value plays in the industry. What the data supports is not a single moment of booking, but a process. Book when you're comfortable with the price and the cabin selection is still full, then reprice actively. Most major cruise lines allow you to rebook at a lower fare before final payment without penalty, and some, like Carnival's Early Saver program, allow repricing even after final payment. That means booking early isn't a commitment to the price you pay today. It's a commitment to the sailing, with the price remaining adjustable. The window to watch most closely after booking is 31 to 100 days before departure, on the days that historically show the most activity for your specific line. For Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, that means checking Saturday mornings. For Carnival and Norwegian, it means Thursday. For MSC, Friday. Comparing your current fare against a 90-day trailing average for that sailing, rather than against the booking page price you originally saw, is the most reliable way to identify whether a price movement is genuinely meaningful or just normal fare fluctuation. Cruise pricing looks unpredictable from the outside. From the inside, it follows patterns. Those patterns are documented in data that's available right now, and once you know what they are, the difference between what you book for and what you pay can be substantial. Saturday is the only day of the week where cruise prices fall on average across the industry. That's not a theory or a heuristic, it's what comes out of the largest publicly available dataset on cruise fare behavior in 2026. Check prices on Saturday. For Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, the window is particularly strong at 20 to 23% drop rates. For Carnival and Norwegian, Thursday still holds. For MSC, Friday. Everything else in this video, the Tuesday myth, the wave season base fare premium, the book a year out instinct, points in the wrong direction. The data is available. Now you know where it points.